Do not underestimate how much Satan does not want you walking on the straight and narrow. Don't underestimate that. Sometimes we could be walking the straight and narrow and feel like, oh, it's just not that deep, or nobody cares if I'm walking the straight and narrow. Yes, they do. People are watching. People are being used by the enemy to get you off the path, and here's why. In the Bible, it talks about we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, right? Against spiritual forces, right? Here's the thing. The enemy will use people to get you off the path of the straight and narrow. Why? Because when you are successful, it is a reminder to those people that they had a choice. If you are successful on the path that you're walking on, it is a reminder or serves as evidence that people had a choice. Imagine you're on a plantation and you're a slave and you run away from the plantation and you actually make it to freedom. The path was difficult, but you actually make it to freedom. What do you think people who are still on the plantation are going to think? What do you think they're going to think? They're going to feel some type of way. Why? Because you serve as a reminder and as evidence that they have a choice. They have a choice to stay. You showed them another way. There was another option. There was a choice. A lot of people truly believe that they are, victims of their circumstance. Like they don't have a choice. Oh, I came from this background, so that's why I made this choice. Right? Oh, I had a difficult background. People did me dirty, so that's why I am how I am. People who have gone through trauma in their life, they feel justified in doing other people dirty because they had trauma. Right? Oh, well, people treated me bad back in my day and stuff like that, so I treat you bad. And you're like, well, why do you treat me bad? And their justification is, oh, well, people treated me bad. Mind you, you didn't come from a peachy, squeaky clean background either, but yet you choose to treat people right. So hold on, let me get this straight. Because you went through things in your life, you feel justified in treating people wrong. But I've gone through things in my life and I still treat people right. So what's your excuse? A lot of people truly believe that because they've gone through something in life, that they can just treat you any type of way, because they allow their trauma to be their idol. They allow their trauma to be their idol. And, it truly had me thinking, because I think we underestimate spiritual warfare. We underestimate it. This is something that should be talked about more often, because at the end of the day, we are in a spiritual battle every day, every single day. Do not underestimate, you walking the straight and narrow and people feeling some type of way about that. As a woman who is single, waiting for marriage and doing things, God's way, do not underestimate how many other women feel some type of way about you living that way. Right? Women get on here all the time. Oh, I'm doing me and I didn't wait and this, that, and the third, right? They boast about that. They boast about going against God's word. But then when you are following God's word, they don't want you to follow his word. So you're able to live your life how you want to, but I can't live my life how I choose to do so. You ever notice that? They can live their life however they choose, as long as you aren't living your life how you choose. Why? Because when they see you on that path and you're successful on that path, it serves as a reminder and evidence that they had a choice. again, a lot of people believe that they are victims of their circumstance. Now, I'm not somebody who thinks that everything that you go through in life is because of you. That's the quickest way to deteriorate mentally. If you think that everything that you've gone through is because of you, that's not the case. And if you watch my previous videos, you'll realize that I don't believe that. So I don't, subscribe to that mindset. However, I do believe that we have free will. We have a choice. You can choose to stay a victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to have faith and move forward and find another way, find another path. Because I promise you, as long as Yah exists, there's another way to go about that situation. But anywho, I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Don't underestimate the lengths that people will go. And again, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. When people have unforgiveness, bitterness, walking in rebellion, they open themselves up to be used by the enemy. We who walk the straight and narrow are susceptible to be used by the enemy. That's why we need to stay prayed up. One of the prayers we should be praying is, Yah, if I step out of your will, please still protect me. Because there's been times when we step out of his will, either knowingly or unknowingly, but we're still protected. Right? Now, we get the full protection when we're walking in his will, but when we step outside, he's not obligated to protect us. We're outside his will. We're outside of his protection. So those are the prayers that I be praying. I'm not perfect, and sometimes I might step out his will even unknowingly, but still protect me. Because again, you open yourself up to being used by the enemy, right? Never underestimate that. Nobody is above being used by the enemy, right? It takes a level of humility to be like, you know what, maybe I'm going off the path a little bit. Let me try to, get back on the straight and narrow. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to bring that up. Don't underestimate the lengths people will go to try to get you off the path, because it's not about you. It's about them feeling comfortable in their sin. It's about them feeling justified for walking the path that they're walking on. And again, if you're successful on the path that you're on, then it's going to disturb their spirits on the inside of them, because you serve as evidence that they had a choice. So yeah.